Okay, we're live. We're 12 minutes early because we're going to play. We're both incredibly fond of Malcolm, and he's had a crack at the CEO of Opera. So here he goes, having 12 minutes, a 12-minute attack on Opera. So enjoy this, and then we'll be with the show. We're both a bit sick, so bear with us.
He was grilling the CEO of APRA, the Justin Uberführer, also known as Untersteiner. Here we go.
Untersteiner.
Here. Dr. Amos is an academic psychiatrist based in North Queensland. His academic work includes numerous published journal articles and conference presentations on gender medicine. On 26th of February 2026, the Medical Board of Australia placed restrictions on Dr. Amos's medical registration, preventing him from having direct or indirect contact with patients and banning him from posting on social media on the topic of gender. This was in response to 4 complaints about 3 ex-posts. 3 of the complaints were anonymous. It's important to note that there was no patient complaint. He had posted that, quote, "There is no reliable evidence that trans identification can be differentiated from psychosis."
So, Senator Roberts, given that it is almost 10:30, we've had all of these questions from Senator
No, haven't had these
Henderson.
questions. Haven't had these questions.
I
God,
think
they
you've
always
had a
want to
similar
topic down.
This
response.
question. Another complaint was that in a post exchange, Dr. Amos used biological pronouns and thereby was accused of misgendering a UK trans activist. The immediate action order used by IPRA against Dr. Amos is meant to be reserved, as I understand it, for when there is a reasonable belief that a health practitioner poses a serious risk to public health and safety. My question is, what specific elements of those posts did the board determine posed a serious risk to public health and safety under the so-called national law?
So, as the chair has highlighted, I've answered this question numerous times. My response will remain, I can't comment on individual cases because we have very clear confidentiality. Okay,
let's move on then.
Yep.
Does a health practitioner have the right to refer
Okay,
to
Senator
a
Roberts, just one moment. I hope it is a point of order, Senator Henderson, and not commentary.
No, of course not. Just a point of order in relation to advice that I've just received through the Secretariat. If this information is public, there's no basis not to answer these questions. So we've checked the advice with the chair. So I would just challenge.
You haven't checked the advice with the chair.
Sorry, I meant with the secretary. Apologies. So I'm just saying that I just say through the chair that I don't think it's appropriate that you decline to answer these questions. It's not consistent with the rules of the Senate.
Wow, man.
Sorry to confirm.
I think this is an interpretation issue.
Through the chair.
The information that you have is not necessarily the stuff that is printed in whatever publication it is that has been quoted. There's a big difference in reporting from wherever you got it and the agencies actually providing you with their detailed private information that is protecting other people's privacy. But I'm happy.
Do you know, Michael, they did the same trick with me when they did the suspension for me posting on social media. They went, oh, it's confidentiality. We can't talk about the case. We can't talk about the shit fuckery that went on. So it's quite interesting.
So that's how they try to hide.
For Mr. Steiner to take that on notice, provide the rationale and the breakdown. Perhaps you could provide the information that you were reading from previously in terms of your...
I've tabled that, Chair. That's been tabled.
Right, well, I still haven't seen it.
Oh, well,
nobody's given it to me.
Well, please speak to the Secretary. I mean, please don't.
So I'll just finish.
And they want to keep it hidden.
And then should that then turn into, I believe you've been asking the clerk about a public interest immunity claim, then we can go to that point at that time. But let's just take it on notice and come back with the rationale and the understanding, and then Senators Henderson and Senators Roberts can go through that and determine what steps they might like to take next.
So I appreciate Senator Henderson interjecting, but the ultimate umpire is the TV camera, the people watching this at home, the Australians. Does a health practitioner, Mr. Understeiner, have the right to refer to a trans person's biological sex? Biological sex.
I might. I'm struggling a little bit with that question in regards
Please,
to
I
our
don't know what it
role as
means.
Fuck off.
the regulator.
I don't know what it
Is it
means.
discrimination for a health practitioner to refer to a person's biological sex? Is it discrimination?
Senator Jamie Orchard, General Counsel of ARPA. If I understand your question to be, is there an issue with a practitioner making public reference to someone's gender or sex?
To refer to a person's biological sex.
So can I say that generally in respect of public comments by practitioners, you've heard earlier the discussion around the right of free speech and the fact that that ARPA and the boards are committed to those ideals, but there are limits to free speech and how people express themselves.
So a doctor talking about biological sex is going against free speech.
What I was going to say, Senator, is that the codes of conduct and the social media guide that's published by boards set out quite clearly the expectations of practitioners when they are making public comments. They should make comments that are respectful, that rely on the best available information and so on. I beg your pardon?
I think you're a man.
Senator Roberts, it's not appropriate
How can a
to
doctor
get personal with the witnesses.
How can
Please
a
have some
doctor
respect.
fulfil their ethical obligation to inform the public of potential harms of gender interventions and gender ideology without being accused of discrimination against LGBTIQA plus people?
Again, Senator, I answered this question several times. We don't, as a regulator, health practitioners have a right to have public debate about a range of different issues, which includes, again, gender affirming treatment, gender blockers, and other like treatments. And we would not be taking regulatory action on that basis. Again, I think we've got to be very careful here about selective media and using that as the basis.
What specifically would ARPA consider to be misinformation in a post? If you can't speak to that now,
Sure.
we'll take it on notice. How do ARPA staff acquire the capacity to know what is true or false information in this highly contested area? How do you know?
Sure. So again, we rely on the existing clinical guidelines that exist, but we also, again, will look at the specific facts of the case, the specific facts of what was said and what context that was said. And again, I want to be clear here that we will intervene where this goes beyond a debate about clinical pathways and treatments and moves into a place of hate or discrimination against individuals or groups. And again, I see firsthand the harm that discrimination and hate causes the community, right? I see vulnerable people in all walks of life in this country who fear seeking help because individuals go beyond debating appropriate clinical pathways or advice and move into very clear discrimination. Right?
Could you give me specifically, please, what ARPA considers a set of guidelines that would be deemed by ARPA to be misinformation in a post?
Again, that's a hypothetical. I don't think I can answer that question.
Last question, Senator Roberts.
You're basing careers on it, breaking careers on it. Medical Board of Australia's immediate action orders are implemented before the facts are established and before an investigation occurs. Is it reasonable to destroy a doctor's career for 3 social media posts without conducting an investigation? 3 anonymous complaints,
Senator Roberts,
no patient complaints.
you're working on a limited basis there.
Yeah, again, I'd just say I don't agree with your characterisation there. And again, there's a lot more information that won't be in the public, isn't appropriate for me to talk about. I've got legal obligations that I must meet.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Steiner.
I'm going to skip a lot of my questions, Mr. Steiner, and go straight to general. Go straight to general comment, general questions. Would an ARPA caseworker understand if a doctor was referring to a psychoanalytic view of psychosis rather than a psychotic disorder?
Sorry, can you ask that question again, Senator?
Would an ARPA caseworker understand if a doctor was referring to a psychoanalytic view of psychosis rather than a psychotic disorder?
Happy to take that on notice, Senator.
If they don't understand, are they in a position to take action against such a doctor?
Again, happy to take that on notice.
Given AHPRA's affiliation with the Rainbow Tick Scheme and ACON, a high-profile gender identity organisation, how can a doctor be sure that AHPRA is neutral and not biased against them?
Sure, Senator. So I go back to an earlier point that I made, which is we regulate 1 million health practitioners, and that 1 million health practitioners will see many millions of Australians as well. We have a paramount responsibility of public protection within legislation, and in order for us to fulfil that duty, we need to be engaging with all sorts of communities to understand their experiences in the health system and to understand their experience with the regulator as well. And so we meet with many different organisations, including Australian Disability Network, for instance, the Diversity Council of Australia, many, many others I could go on. We also work with Pride and Diversity for the exact same reason.
Thank you. Can AHPRA confirm all formal and informal relationships it maintains with ACON and its programs, including Pride and Diversity?
Sure.
Can you take that on notice?
Take it on notice.
Thank you. Is AHPRA currently a member of Pride and Diversity or participating in the Australian Workplace Equality Index?
We do have a membership with Pride and Diversity.
When and at what cost? When did you join? And when?
Happy to take that on notice.
Thank you. What due diligence was undertaken before entering into these relationships, particularly given ACON's explicit advocacy role on gender identity policy?
Yeah, again, happy to take that on notice, Senator.
Has AHPRA conducted any formal assessment of whether these relationships create actual or perceived conflicts of interest in its regulatory functions?
Well, I'm confident that they aren't creating any kind of conflict. Again, as I mentioned, we use a range of different partnerships and memberships to ensure that we're hearing different voices from the community. At the end of the day, our regulatory role is founded in the legislation and in the codes of conduct. And again, I'm very comfortable that we fulfil that duty without a conflict of interest.
Have you conducted any formal assessment of whether these relationships create actual or perceived conflicts?
No formal assessment.
Thank you. How does AHPRA reconcile its statutory obligation to act as an independent regulator with participation in programs designed to influence institutional behaviour toward progressive inclusion strategies? Quote.
Again, I think I've answered that, Senator.
Not specifically.
Well,
Generally.
again, we apply legislation and codes of conduct in our investigations. We have, to go further, ultimate decisions are made by professional boards under the legislation. Professional boards and the members of the professional boards are not employees of AHPRA. They are statutory appointees appointed by the ministers, being every state and territory health minister and the federal health minister. So they are independent of AHPRA in that sense. And so again, there is an arm's length arrangement in decision making. And then beyond that, there is a right of appeal through to tribunals and even the higher courts. And so again, there is a very robust regulatory and legislative framework that ensures that there isn't a conflict of interest that occurs as a result of, again, us listening to different members of the community to understand their experiences.
Do you know what it costs to go to court?
Senator Roberts, we're going to have to rotate the call. This is your last question.
Okay. Has AHPRA received advice, internal or external, on whether alignment with advocacy organisations risks regulatory capture or bias?
So I'll take that on notice, Senator.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Understeiner.
Yes.
That's it. So we're going to start now. We're going to start with, we're going to go out with Henry's song, but we're going to start with the Chloe Quiz Show, the Trolls' favourite show. And so we'll go with that. And if you're watching AHPRA, not AHPRA, ASIO, and whatever other department watches us, I just want to say that after 6 years of watching us, I think it's time you got subscriptions. What do you think, Paul?
Yes. Yeah, they deserve a gold levels subscription because
That's right.
they watch every show.
Right. Every show. They do. They actually get it transcribed. So
Yes.
come on, guys. You know, dig deep. It's only fair. Dance Australia fair. Here's the cloak. That's wrong. So just keep me going as because it looks like I've screwed up there. we'll just keep chatting as I try to find the real opening. I thought that. Oh no, this is it. This is it. This is it. Okay, here we go. Watch this. I just happened to come across this. This is fascinating. If you're watching England, watch this.
Sit next to Ali, your countryman.
I cannot sit there. It's impossible.
Why is it impossible?
I'm sick.
Oh dear. Hope it's not contagious. Perhaps you want to come back when you're better.
I do not comprehend the gist of your conversation.
Well, you said you were sick.
No. I am not referring to my physical state of mind. My religion is sick. And he is Muslim.
Islam is the only true faith.
And Muslims follow a false prophet.
How dare you be speaking of God's holy messenger, you damn fool? Sikhs are unbelievers and infidels.
Sikhs are peace-loving people. And if you are not careful, I will have much pleasure in dispatching you to your holy messenger with this.
I will not tolerate any religious intolerance. Now put that knife away.
He called me an infidel.
Well, you didn't mean it, did you?
Most definitely.
I swear by the 5 rivers of Punjab to slice your throat from there to there.
Oh, ear to ear.
Here to there, or there to here. Yes.
There will be no throat slicing in my class.
It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. Oh, fuck. Is it only Monday night? It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. Is it only Monday night? It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. Is it only Monday night? It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. Is it only Monday night? He's in an annual lag and his prizes are crap. And I'm pretty sure he never took the fucking cab. But since you're all out of fuel because your government shafted you, where else can you go, so? Roll up, ladies and gentlemen, and come on down to Cafe Locked Out because it's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. Is it only Monday night? Come on, everybody, sing along. It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. Is it really only Monday night?
Okay, that's the ad for tomorrow's show. It's webinar only, so find the link on Cafe Lockdown, and we'll see if it works better with the clothes. Got to give them a few obstacles and stuff like this. And we're going to be showing stuff like Black and White Minstrels, Danny LaRue. We're going to go back to the time when we were so racist and everything was so evil, and we were just like Israel and Palestine. Remember those days in the 70s? Where, you know, just in Bondi, we just be killing each other all the time because of race. Remember those times? No, of course, never fucking happened. That's why. So here we are. So it's going to be interesting. And Cal and I are going to be doing, we'll let you know. It's going to be really, really interesting. But we are going with the registration, so at least we can get the trolls' emails this time. So that's all set up. So, yeah. So anyway, here we are tonight. Tonight is a catch-up with the doc, because we've had some big things. We did have Dr. Teo on, and a few days after Dr. Teo on, we found out that Gina Reinhardt was basically backing him. So I don't know if it's our show. I did reach out to him and say, congratulations on Gina Reinhardt. I think that's fantastic. On the show, he didn't look like he had a billionaire in his back pocket. And then I did say to him too, please don't send us the sex tape. But apart from that, I wish them the best. I wish them the best. Now, what else? How?
Well, I thought Malcolm did a great job with Justin. Unter Steiner also. I just call him Uberführer because you know,
Mate, he sounds, my God. You know.
Unterstein. I mean, this. I mean, it's when the chief counsel said, you know, oh yeah, practitioners of free speech, but you know, there are limits. That's where free speech dies. You know,
Yes.
where
Yes.
notice the free speech doesn't extend to anything to do with gender mutilation at the hands of practitioners or you know, but that's not considered genital. It's called gender reaffirmation. You know, so somewhere between genital mutilation and gender affirmation is where I think there may be a conflict between me and APRA.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm listening. It's just it's just when he said vulnerable people, he's seen vulnerable people. Who have you seen? People who are hurt by hurty words? Hurty words? Like, I know that's a nice dress, mate, but you know, stay out of the women's toilets. Sorry.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I feel very sorry for the feminists, you know, because feminism basically died once you allowed men in.
Yeah. 100%.
That's what they did. They're like, there was an article here about Dr. Amos, you know, and it was in the Australian, and it said, big regulator APRA has been accused of deeply disturbing abuse of regulatory power. After the CEO denied his organisation takes action against medical professions for raising concerns about gender, and it was very clear. It was very clear that they were taking action around this, and they're card-carrying members of all these gender organisations. I tell you, Michael, that go woke, go broke, DEI equals DIE. You know, those memes are tracking really well.
Yeah.
You know, whether you, and I remember saying to you, it's whether you're talking about a company like Fagua or you're talking about a government.
Yeah.
These woke Western governments are going down. I think the people. I think that's why One Nation. I think that's why One Nation is doing so well because people are sick of the bullshit. And
totally agree.
And when the general counsel for APRA, you know, was saying, talking about, well, I think we've had an ASIO attack. I can't see you. Can you see me?
Oh, really? I can see you, yeah, man. Yeah,
Am I
you're frozen
moving?
a bit. Yeah, no, you're frozen. It's okay. You just look like Bold and a Beautiful scene.
I just appear black.
Studio. Men can get pregnant too, including you two. I am pregnant, John.
I've been pregnant. I've been pregnant for years, but that's beside the point. Look, I'll
pregnancy. He's gestating over several years.
Yeah.
It's going to come out with a university diploma and go straight into medical.
I have to. I think I have to pop out and pop back in.
All right.
I'll
let you do that. Oh, so Trish, Batty blocked a bot and me. Sorry, Trish, about that. I've tried to get onto Rumble to figure out where the unblocking thing is on Rumble. I can't see it. Petra, they are a joke. Beautiful picture of you the other day, Petra, on your thing. Beautiful picture. G'day, Katie. I saw you getting on your knee too. Good on you. He's only audio only.
I don't even know if I'm audio.
Yeah, your audio. My new doctor admitted they can't give out exemptions or lose their license. Oh, darn, not surprised. Thanks, Butterfly Heart. I need to lie down every 10 minutes at the moment. Oh, I'm sorry, Denise. What's that about? Are either of you men pregnant? You might be, according to Anna Kobe. Jason, Wayne through. But fuck your head, too tempting. Yeah, it is good about Dr. Tia. So we're just waiting on Oosterhuis to come back because he's got the whole show on his computer. We had a lovely gathering. Did anyone see the interview today with Xavier? There we go. Xavier was incredible today. Yeah. Fake male pregnancy. Talk for yourself, Michael. I'm looking forward to my child. There's poke you with a stick, Michael. He might move. The lighting the fuses on up. This is comment of the night. Jane Dern, love you, Jane. They're lighting the fuses on our tampons. We've had enough. Jane, stay there. I'm just going to take a screenshot. Look pretty, Paul. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's great. That is so funny. Okay, let's move on with the show. Where are we going, Paul?
Well, we can go anywhere, but where would you like to go?
Oh, I just want to congratulate Kelly on doing a great interview with Jody. That was quite extraordinary, Paul. So we were in a town called we're actually in the same town now, aren't we? What's it called? Cable or something. And so we were here, and things weren't going right. And then Kelly suddenly goes, "I don't think we're meant to be here. I think we're meant to be somewhere else." I was like, "Ugh, drive to the next town, Ballarat." We turn up in Ballarat, and as soon as we turn up, Jody puts her head in the window when we're booking into the caravan park and goes, "I've got a story." And then Kelly did the story. It was just beautiful, and it really felt like it was meant to happen. And then we've just had a gathering in Capel tonight, set up by Jeff and Clinton and Vicky, and their son in the morning. Their son Xavier did this incredible interview. It's like young prophets down here, and so we're in a really good place. You know, we're sort of doing good work. We're working a lot, but it's really good. And there's beautiful, wonderful people here. Yeah. I can feel I can feel the power of good rising up. Once you strip people of everything they've got, they've still got each other and they love each other's company. There's real power in that, and they don't talk shit like that CEO. You seem like I don't know what you're asking me. Can a man give birth? I'm biological. I don't know is that got something to do with my dick? You know, that's just. They're just so fucked.
It's just it's just so lame.
Yeah.
It really is just so lame, and it's out of touch with reality. You know.
Oh, thanks, Sonny. I
love James' comment about they're lighting the fuse on our tampons.
Yeah, that's right. That's a T-shirt, Jane. You're lighting the fuse on my tampon. Yeah. Yeah. And that Aboriginal boy we interviewed, Elijah, he came to the gathering last night. He wants to do another interview because that's really the first time he's ever spoken publicly ever. He just, and because he was born, he grew up in an institution until he was 5. He was tube fed till he was 5. He couldn't walk and he couldn't even talk. And this nurse has basically quit her life now, and she's bringing these 2 boys up. She's got another boy, Ryan's also has some challenges. And here's this wonderful lad. And so it's been some really incredible moments in WA. So, yeah, it's amazing.
Do you think WA is leading the way towards secession from the rest of Australia into sanity?
No, I don't hear anyone talking about secession except for our lovely mate. What's his name? Julian?
Well, I saw this uplifting clip this week, one of many. See if it'll.
Australia is officially now classified by the World Bank as a third world country because when your growth management strategy goes past 2.5%, you are then considered a third world country, which means your infrastructure can no longer keep up with your growth. So as the Gold Coast gets 880 new cars every week coming into the general area of southeast Queensland with one road to it and one road from it, it is a problem. So you could build a brand new hospital in the Gold Coast, but you can't put any nurses there because they can't have housing and you can't get them to that location, so they'll get a job somewhere else. There's only 3 big engine rooms, and that would be Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane. But if you look at us as cattle, we're running 440 people per square kilometre in Sydney and Melbourne, but only 160 in Brisbane, which means we can't support our infrastructure even if we had it. And so fundamentally, we are a third world country. We can't produce the infrastructure for the sheer numbers that we have, and that's a problem. The most unaffordable nation in the English-speaking world for 15 years in a row. Go Aussies.
Go Aussies. Most unaffordable nation, lowest real income of the G20, which means that we're going backwards. We're going backwards.
Yeah.
Which is,
Going down, I believe, is not backwards, just like straight down.
Yeah. And look, and I think that's because the currencies are dying and the sovereign debt has died. So this is the government bonds, the US government bond, Japanese government bond, UK government bonds. If you look at their interest rates, they're approaching these new highs that they haven't had for like 20 odd years in some cases or longer.
Yeah.
But when the yields go up, that means the bond value is crashing, which is the value of our government debt. And our financial system uses that as the key collateral. So, yeah, look, things are, and I actually think that what's happened in the Persian Gulf and the shortfall in energy and oil-derived products is going to help trigger a detonation of these sovereign bonds.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I think, look, mathematically they're going to trigger at some point because they're just going up vertically. And with it, all our currencies are going to die, which is why I'm always on about, get things that they can't print. So oil you can't print, but you can't store it. But other things like the central banks are all buying gold.
Wow. Okay.
Some are buying silver. Chinese and Indian populations are buying silver. Mind you, they're buying so much silver that the Prime Minister of India came out and said, "Don't buy gold, please, for a year, because we want our currency to last a little bit longer."
Wow.
So it's we should
in a hock shop yesterday or the other day, a little hock shop, and they had it was a gold shop or something. Anyway, they had little jars with just specks of gold in it. It was like $700 something, and you look at it going, "My God, that's nothing." It looks like a few flakes, but it was absolutely incredible. Go ahead, I'm listening.
I had some good news. I think It's funny. I go up and down. I don't know if you'll consider this good news, but one of the oil experts that I follow, Art Berman, he quite credible, and I watched an interview with him yesterday morning, where he was with the Great Simplification, Nat Hagen's podcast. He talks about the Great Simplification. And he loves solar panels and wind generators and that narrative, and Art, completely schooled him. But they were both very, very freaked out. This was a month ago. Very freaked out about what's going to happen to the supply chains and in particular diesel. What's going to, even in the US.
Wow.
But 3 days ago, he posted this, which was, a walking back from the cliff, basically saying that, because people would talk about tank bottoms. If at the moment we're making up the shortfall from the Strait of Hormuz using things like the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and other countries' reserves of fuel, stored fuel.
Yeah.
Otherwise, things would already be rationing, or otherwise we'd already be in big trouble. And Chris Martinson, he's been talking about how, like, we're not doing anything to stop us going headlong towards this situation of tank bottoms. And if we hit tank bottoms, everything stops.
Yeah.
Basically everything, like economies stop. So this is why I say this is hopeful, because Art's looked at the numbers using what he calls comparative inventory. So he compares the inventory with the same time last year to take out the seasonal components of oil use. And he's saying, I can't get close to tank bottoms using comparative inventory. So he's changed his opinion about the desperation in the last month, at least for the US. So I thought that was a bit of good news. A thing that I thought was, we were talking about Henry Nowak, but look at the guys that booed at the morning Anzac morning service. They got fined, and they're being described as neo-Nazis for booing. But I thought this was well said.
It's not going to deter me at all in expressing my point of view. I think people should continue to boo the Welcome to Country. I think it's a disgrace, especially at the Shrine of Remembrance. That's the day where it should be about Australian soldiers, Australian and New Zealand soldiers. It shouldn't be about Aboriginal grievance politics. I think the magistrate made the wrong decision. I think that we should be allowed to express our point of view, even if the Shrine of Remembrance wants to use the solemnity of the remembrance as a shield for wrongdoing. It doesn't matter if you have authority or you have solemnity on your side if you do the wrong thing. And having that Welcome to Country is the wrong thing to do when it is about the Anzacs.
The judge described your behaviour as unacceptable and timed to gain maximum impact into your cause. What were your response to his findings?
Well, I think that he's wrong. That it was criminally offensive. I think there is a plurality of views in the in Australia, and in a liberal democracy, people are allowed to express their point of view without the criminal justice system being used to suppress points of view.
The judge described this event as sacred to Australia. Why is it?
I agree that Anzac Day is sacred, but I think that we weren't disrupting Anzac Day, we were disrupting the Welcome to Country, and we view that as a disruption. Australian soldiers and New Zealand soldiers don't need to be welcomed to their respective countries. They fought for the country. So it should be a day for remembering them and not remembering Aboriginal grievance politics. It's not a day for that. And people are coming on our side now. People understand that. How about we leave Anzac Day for the Anzacs, and then they've got a million other days, seemingly a million other days for them to express their sorry day, NAIDOC week. Why don't they keep the Aboriginal grievance politics to those days and leave the Anzac Day for Australian soldiers?
Yeah, I think that was well said.
Well said.
I think it's nice to see the neo-Nazis dressed up in suits and speaking so rationally. I found that nice. And
don't you think they could have got further though if they didn't go with Nazis? You know why? You can. My thing is that you can still defend the white race, and there was a lot of stuff against us. Henry Nowak is proof of pure racism against white people. That could have been said in the 1940s with a young black guy dying or being murdered, and the white cops didn't care, didn't see it. Helped in the death of the black boy.
Yes.
There'd be films about a Mississippi burning or all these other films. There'd be plays about it, everything. Here, it's the exact mirror of that, except the boy's white. This is pure, utter racism, but it's by white people. I mean, the blacks never generally did it to the blacks, but the white people are doing it because they're virtue signaling that they're good people. And they're so terrified of being a racist. Well, now they've killed a white boy who did nothing wrong simply to try appease his killer.
They were very callous. They were very callous, and they.
Well, let's talk about it from the doctor's point of view. You're a doctor. There's people are saying you can smell blood. So he'd been stabbed 5 times, bleeding everywhere. Could you smell blood?
Probably, yes. I mean, and you could
touch his hand.
To prove he was stabbed, all he had to do was pull up his shirt or something, and they would have said, "Holy shit!" But they didn't wait for that. They didn't. They were so quick to get the handcuffs on him and throw him to the ground for the crime of racism that they alleged racism. That they and yeah. Look, I don't know that they could have saved his life even if they'd done that.
Have you heard about the Polish what's a pathologist. He's read the coroner's report, and he said so. He'd sliced the edge of one of Henry's major arteries, but if they compressed, he reckons it would have healed. But what they did is they pulled his arms back to handcuff him, and they opened it up. Not only that, when he was lying on the floor, he was wedged against a wall between a car. They dragged him back by his ankles in the rain on his face so they could get to him. He's dying. And he was saying, I just need to say this because it has to be said. 9 times he called out. I can't listen to the isolated version of his voice because it's too distressing. 9 times he called out, I've been stabbed, I'm dying, I can't breathe. So loud that the neighbors could hear it. And 9 times, and the cops ignored him. And then they handcuffed him, saying, thank you, you have made all this. It's extraordinary, Paul.
Yeah. You need an extraordinary level of blindness, not to, it ties in with the Untersteiner Überführer Apra guy, where you've got this extraordinary ideological thing, whether it's the police or whether it's the regulators. It's rife through our Western societies, and it's going to, and it's destroying us. And you remember I've been quite critical about the Human Rights Commissioner, and the the ombudsman who's meant to be overseeing this. I've been very critical of her because they were completely asleep at the wheel during COVID. So here's Carl. Talking to Australia's Human Rights Commissioner, and just it's another example of just how freaking insane our regulators and our government has become.
Check this out. Has the world gone mad? A Senate inquiry from last week is making global headlines, and it's pretty wild. The Human Rights Commissioner was grilled by Liberal Senator Michaelia Cash about a law that protects transgender women from being discriminated against by their employer.
Trans women who applies for a job, for example, and she may be asked whether or not she intends to have children. And if she replies, yes, I do, and then doesn't get the job because that employer doesn't want to employ women who may be of childbearing age, then she may have been subjected to unlawful discrimination on the basis of potential pregnancy.
I'm very confused. A biological male.
You're not alone, babe.
But the grounds of pregnancy includes potential pregnancy as well as pregnancy.
But if they can't become pregnant, how can you then become potentially pregnant?
Someone who is a trans woman may be assumed to be pregnant or to be able to be pregnant.
Biological men, doesn't matter what way you cut it, you cannot get pregnant.
I'm as confused as Michaelia. Shaz on Instagram saying 100 years from now, people will read history books and laugh. Shaz, you're 100% right.
Yeah, so there you go. Carl's joining the debate.
Oh, it's bullshit, man. It's just bullshit now. They've just reached a bullshit level, I mean, and basically the emperor has been naked as far as we've concerned, basically from the beginning, but they keep dressing the emperor in new invisible robes that only they can see. You know? So he's just walking around like the Michelin Man, covered in layers and layers of bullshit. And they can't unsee it. And we cannot, all we see is this decaying culture,
Well, we have to see okay. So I have a general thing, a general argument that we're caught in all these ideologies. They're not reality based, We need to get our financial system, like I say, they can conjure up the digits out of thin air and give it to their mates. This is why the rich are becoming mega rich. We'll have trillionaires soon. Well,
for every trillionaire coming up in a few months, Elon's going to be the first trillionaire in a few months.
So for every trillionaire, you can produce countries galore in poverty, and that's what we're seeing. It's like we've lived through a giant game of Monopoly, and we're at the last few throws where you've got one person who's got all the hotels on all the major streets, and the rest of us, the 99.99%, are about to be thrown into the Klaus Schwab world of you will own nothing and you will be happy because we will have a digital ID, a social credit system, and complete surveillance. I see the data centers and that fetish, which is sucking up so much energy now. I mean, literally, it's sucking up the electricity grids of the US. And these are weapons. These are weapon systems. These are not benign things. And they're there for surveillance and control of the population because they know the system is about to crack. And rather than start again, rather than throw the monopoly chips, all the hotels and houses and cash back in the box and start again, they want to start up a new electronic version, which is tyranny. You know.
Just to the troll, we've got a Darren Bergworth troll. Sorry, troll. Good face, good name, but Darren doesn't actually like me, so he wouldn't talk to me like that. So that's a nice try, you know.
So as if things weren't bad, enough, we've got this week. I saw this.
He is trapped in a McDonald's toilet in Tarneet, a machete to his throat.
Oh yeah, this is horrendous, man.
Moments earlier, it appeared the boy was made to fight. Before the other teens pulled out the blade. He is trapped in a McDonald's toilet in Tarneet.
Yeah, so that's disturbing.
Well, let's talk about that. Now, these boys, the Sudanese kids, they come from a different world where it seems to us what we see, that violence is on a different scale than what we're used to here, you know? And they're coming here. We must look like easy pickings.
Yes.
And to be honest, they're used to dealing with real dangerous situations where maybe they're in that's why they escaped. It's really dangerous. And here, we're just these soft, easy. We've never seen anything like it. It's not working that they're going together. And in Victoria, the corruption is off the scale. The Victorian government has just passed legislation, changed the laws that the CMFEU kind of thing fund them as much as they want, but the other people running against them are limited to what donations they can take. I mean, they're literally scrambling to hold on to power. But you've got to say to Victorians, Elon Musk can now, if he becomes a trillionaire, he can buy Victoria. What would you rather have, Labor for 4 years, or would you rather have Elon actually buys Victoria? You know, and the thing is, this is insane. I just can't understand. The only way I think you could vote to keep Labor in power now is if you're on the pay. You're getting paid.
Well, interesting you should say that. Hughesy did a rant about the corruption and that the Victoria is getting a bigger slice of the GST cut. So we've got potholes everywhere else, but there is shitloads of the tax derived from the GST going to disproportionately to Victoria, and it is funding a shitload of grift. You know, so Hughesy was talking about. He saw a guy working on his house, and he said, "Oh, it's not good. I can't get anyone to work because they're getting paid more on the big bills as government employees working 6 hours a day and getting big bucks. So I can't find anyone to work on my house. So yeah, look, this is how the politicians try. They suck the money in, pay off. Whoever needs to be paid off, and it will give them infrastructure. but the amount of money that's being wasted and lost is the problem, because we're being taxed into oblivion. You know, the 99% are being are facing what Friedrich Bastiat called legalized plunder, and the government is plundering the people with excessive taxation.
Yeah. Oh, they're destroying. Look, I saw an economist the other day said we could pay off the trillion and 0.3 debt in no time. We just got all these minerals. It doesn't even have to be oil. It could be lithium. There's all these other things that we have we never think about, and we could get ourselves out of debt tomorrow and leave our country, leave our people a debt-free country, leave our kids a debt-free country. We've done an interview recently. We're getting it together now about the wind farms they're doing off the coast. So in WA, they've banned the fishing. They've banned fishing, saying, oh, these bottom-feeding fish are in danger. So they've banned fishing, destroyed fishing industries. And what they're saying is where they're destroying the fishing, where they've banned the fishing, saying it's to save the fish, is where they're putting these enormous turbines, hundreds of them, 300 meters high, huge.
It's a double standard.
What's that?
It's a double standard. When it comes to when you destroy the environment in the name of solar power and wind, it's fine. You can bulldoze everything. But if you do it by catching some fish, then you get restricted. You get attacked. Look, the fuel issue is also unmasking all this net zero BS. Because you can't run your lorry trucks on windmills and solar panels. You can't run your mining on windmills and solar panels, whether they're onshore or offshore. You can't run a modern economy on it. And net zero, I think those guys, like I said, should be so happy, because there's a chance we're going to see what net zero really looks like. So if we do get tank bottoms with diesel, we'll discover the utopia of net zero, and that's lights out for the economy. That's like a cardiac arrest for our way of life. So they've been on this, just like COVID was a death cult, net zero is a death cult.
Yeah, it is.
And it was so obviously full of shit, because we couldn't burn our coal in Australia to get cheap electricity and have some industry, but we sent huge amounts to China, where they're busy burning it as fast as they can.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the capital gains tax and stuff coming through from the budget?
I think it's all, the taxation is plunder, including capital gains tax. They've taxed all the money that you ultimately invest. They've already taxed you over and over and over again. Right. And when you put some away so that you can, for the future, and then they come and tax it again, and then you die and they tax it again. There's just, it's like, it's just out of control plunder. But while we have the biggest bureaucracy in the world, we have a bigger government bureaucracy than France.
Yeah.
We spend, you can't, if you want to have lower tax, you need to have a smaller government.
Yeah.
And we're already, we haven't, I hope we're close to peak government, because if it keeps going this way, everyone works for the government. We're so close to sliding from socialism to full-on communism. They'll just call it something different, but it's basically, if you want to live in a free society, you have to have real money. You have to have honest money. You have to have hard money that can't be conjured out of thin air. Yeah. But the governments don't like that, because it would restrain them growing to this full extent. I would like to see small government. I'd like to see the role of government gone, really restricted down, as opposed to what it's been doing under this and under this fake money system. It's effectively a fake money system. It's an unbacked system, and it's backed by the promises. It's backed by promises, and the thing is, governments always default on their promises, and the way they will default. They always do. They always. This is why wars are going on too, because it's sort of like, I can't afford to pay you back, so fuck you, throw some bombs. You know, it's an older story as time. So, but I actually think that the main reason they will default is through inflation. You know, which is another form of theft. It's another form of taxation.
Yeah.
But people won't understand it as a result of overspending, of too large a government, of too much financialization, and giving the banks generating more and more digits and giving it to their friends, while the rest of us get poorer. You know, it's
extraordinary time. And do you know something I thought about Albanese? I've been asking people at these gatherings. We had a great gathering last night. I wrote a piece about a homeless guy I met on the beach, and I put in there another audio interview I did with a woman in her 70s living in a shed full of mice. It's freezing. It's in Bridgetown, which they call Fridgetown. So she's living for her dogs, and I'm thinking, if I was in charge of the country, I would have trouble sleeping, worrying about all these people that I'm, governing, really, suffering so much. I can't remember an ounce of empathy in Albo's face ever, or his voice ever. Instead, the only thing he looks is annoyed when you ask him a question that he doesn't like. Nothing else. Everything is like, so either he's a sociopath, or I think he's committed to, they're giving him an excellent award for leadership. An excellent award for leadership. The country effing hates him. People can't say his name because they feel like they've just sucked a lemon.
I don't talk to anyone who likes Albo.
No, I haven't met anyone. Oh, Russell Crowe, I saw, said something nice about him. He thinks he's doing a good job. But Russell Crowe is a dickhead as well. I mean, he's a great actor, but look at him. He's a cunt, basically. And so there we are with Albo. And you're in it when cunts think you're a great guy, you got troubles. You got troubles. That's the cunt register. It's known. Oh, all these cunts like Albo. Wow, Balbo. Guess you're I want to say it. But it's but here it is. And the people out here are suffering. And it's like, I was talking to another great friend of mine. He spent his life building up this he's electrician, building up this business, really entrenched in the town. He didn't get jabbed, so he suffered there, but he still kept it going. He's given the business to his son like a year or 2 years ago. His son works really hard. I've been there. His son turns up in the morning, really hard worker. The son is selling the business because he said he simply cannot make money out of it. It's bringing money in, but the government takes so much, he's working for nothing. Another woman I met in a tiny town with a cafe, working her heart out. She says, I earn less than my casual staff. It's just, there's no money to be made. Our country has been economically destroyed. And it's like, Albo's just like, hey, you see my little poofter dog? Oh, sorry, no, it's just, I hate to say it, but it's at this stupid level. And that's what I said before. ASIO, I know you're watching us. Take a fucking subscription, man. APRA, you owe us a subscription. You owe us. I'm going to send you, APRA, a bill for 6 years of subscription. And you're going to full price premium. You get the premium packet. You don't get any exclusive content, but you're paying, man. You're paying.
They definitely don't get exclusive content because they'll use it as evidence against someone.
Oh, they'll do it anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And look, this is Doug Casey. He's a crisis investor, He was had a website called International Man. Anyway, some people know him who follow finance. I like his take.
It's like if they gave a war and nobody came.
You make it bigger.
One of the reasons that you shouldn't vote is because it's like if they gave a war and nobody came, that'd be wonderful. If they gave a tax and nobody came, nobody paid, that'd be wonderful. And if they gave an election and nobody voted, oh, that'd be good too. I mean, listen, I'm an anarchist more than a libertarian. I don't believe in government as an entity. Government as an entity is poison.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just the people that go into government who are the worst kind of people. People like to control and monitor and boss around other people. So the type of people that are drawn to government are essentially criminal personalities. But the institution itself is poison. So it's not a question of getting better people in the government, which won't happen. But it's the institution itself which serves no useful purpose. I know people say that's a ridiculous statement. How can you say that? And you can have a long argument about it. But that's my position.
Well, and here.
I remember I was working with we were staying with Len in Perth, Lenny, and he did events as a tech, and he was at this event. This was 3 years ago. Over 600 people there, fine dining, incredible food, incredible drink, and it was there to have a whole day discussion or 2 days discussion. It's in the height of COVID, economic destruction, all this. And what it was there's too many male names on the street signs. They wanted to change 50% of the names to female names. Can you imagine trying to write a letter and everybody, you got to figure out what street name has changed. So everyone's got to contact everyone saying, I used to live on John Street. Now I live on Kelly Street, or just like, what? Okay. It's just all over. And that's government wasting money, all paid for, just to have the thing that there's
spending money to reduce efficiency, create more confusion. It's like the opposite. It's like you're paying money to create a sludge that makes economic prosperity less attainable.
We're in such a, and it's. Someone said to me last night, because there's a lot of 10-pound poms there, all about our age, and he's saying, look, it has to play out now. We're just sitting there and watching this play out. And, even Jim Chalmers, Jim Chalmers looks like he should be on the NDIS with a carer helping him around the supermarket. He doesn't come across to me like this is the man that's in charge of our accounts as the treasurer. You know what I mean? Even the finance minister, that woman, she's got an arts degree, and they give her questions in the Senate Estimates Committee. She's like, how do we get there that we've got these people here? We need serious business people in charge to dig us out of this shit, or I hate to say it, I'm watching Pauline Hanson now coming out with her policies, sticking to her guns, and they're always making fun of her. But more and more people are coming across to her, including with Malcolm and all these others. So when they mock her now, they're no longer mocking this woman who decided to leave a fish and chip shop and try to become a politician. They are now mocking us because she's our girl. Even if we're not going to vote for her, we admire her. She stuck to a gun. She says it like it is. She's tough. She hasn't changed the stance. They accuse her of everything. Now they're attacking us. And they can't get it. They're trying to go, oh, look, she's done this. She's a racist. She's using all these naughty, hurdy words. And they're just bouncing off us because they have no credible arguments. Even the trolls that come on, and tomorrow night, no doubt they'll come on nonstop. One came on the other day and said, oh, I bet you won't have me on the show. Have me on the show, you coward. You have me on the show. So I sent him a link. I said, yeah, come on the show. I'm waiting. And left it there for an hour and a half. Nothing. It's just hate.
Maybe you should do the show after 9 o'clock, because they all seem to go home at 9.
So Carly's saying that she's dumb, and for the 1%, I think it's more than 1%. Carly, she's the most popular person at the moment. So I think you're a little bit wrong there, my dear. There's, I think and I'm seeing her popularity everywhere I go. It's from wealthy people, it's from educated people, it's from people working in supermarkets. It's basically all over the place. All demographics are turning to her, including Indians and people from other races. They're seeing it. The ones that she's supposed to be racist against are actually on her side, and they can't fathom it. And it's because people think, why not give her a chance? Because these other guys have just effed it up so badly. What do we got to lose?
Yeah.
What do we got to lose? You know.
Well, I remember when there were like 500,000 of us in Canberra protesting the mandates. We were yelling at Parliament, "Come down, talk to us," and they all stayed hidden in their offices. But Pauline came out. I remember seeing Pauline in the crowd.
Yeah, she came out. She came out.
She wasn't afraid to be amongst the people who were saying, "We want to stop these mandates. We want some of our freedom. We want our freedom back. We don't want this coercion."
Yeah. I remember when we were in Canberra, another politician came up to us, or she was going for politics, and she came up to us when we were outside the War Museum, and she was like talking to us back, and we said something. She goes, "Hey, calm down. At least I'm one of the only politicians who's going to speak to you people." And I went, "You people? You people? What do you mean by the you in people? You know, you
is that like useless eaters? We come down and talk to the useless eaters.
So full of hate. You know, they're just so full of hate. Even, no offense, that woman who just came up attacking Pauline. You probably haven't even studied Pauline to actually see what she says. You've just been taught to hate her, and you've got the Aboriginal flag in this. And to be a part of this team, you have to hate Pauline. So I'm going to hate Pauline. I haven't actually done any research. Bring up the things where she's been racist. She's actually just saying what people want to say. It's supposed to be fair. Everyone's on the same level. And look what's happened in England. It's 2-tier policing in England right now. That's how it is, you know. We did the Pakistani rape gangs the other day. That was horrendous. I got in trouble for reading. Someone at the thing was saying when you were reading out what they were doing, I said, well, why shouldn't we? If we don't read it out, you say, oh, men don't tackle rape. And so when we do read out what these people are doing, it's like, oh, I don't want to hear that. You know, it's making me uncomfortable. Well, here's where we are. And if we don't talk about these things openly and straight down the point, we're going to keep going down the gurgler and then stuff like this. And that's, you know, it's extraordinary time. Yeah,
absolutely. There was this rant. It's a short rant on my part. Start again.
You know, when the BBC News are making their main headline stories disgrace pictures of the former Andrew, that clearly that's not the real news, that they're throwing him under the bus. They're using that to distract from the bigger picture, which is this is not about individual creepy men. This is about depraved systems that run this world. And the media keep doing this. They zone in on the individual. It's about Epstein, creepy, pervy old guy. It's not just about creepy, pervy men. This is about systems that run this world. Epstein likely made his money from human trafficking and weapons trafficking. You can't do that on your own. He moved huge amounts of money between continents. You cannot do that without being backed by systems. Yeah. Banks, the government, the CIA, the FBI, Mossad, Israel. So the darkest part of humanity that involves trafficking children is also connected to the system that make up the infrastructure that make up our everyday lives. Do you hear where I'm going with this? By connecting and participating in this system, you're participating in the darkest parts of humanity. Like, this system is fucked. We need a revolution. And if you don't want to participate in darkness, you have to reject this system.
Yeah.
I like that.
Look at this. I interviewed Dean Sewell this morning with John. He's one of the best. He's one press photographer of the year. This was early on, and he was given a job to go up with Pauline. The papers were going, forget her. This was like years ago. You know, it's like 20 years ago before she went to jail. But here she was. This is the first time. Look at the dog. Isn't that great? And,
awesome.
I mean,
which one's Pauline?
Yeah. But it's an extraordinary photo. But that's what I'm saying. There she has been there. She has not stopped. She has not stopped. And here where she's got to here now. And the other side is offering nothing. Labor is offering nothing. Liberal is dead. So she's basically the only cab on the rank that are people seeing. If an Albo can't seem to do anything right, everything he comes up with, the budget and everything, it just puts him further down. I seriously can see that there's a chance that Pauline could win. And maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe to be like Argentina with that guy who's turned the country around. He got rid of all the government. Every woke institution was gone. He just got rid of them. And the country turned around within a couple of years. And now it's one of the most thriving economies in South America. And so this is it, you know.
Look, I think people are desperate for a change. What we have isn't working. That's why further west you've got populism rising. Yeah. This is an old rant. It's a little bit off the wall, but that's why I like it. Apparently, this is quite a few years old.
Understand political parties. You're all full of crap. You don't know what the Illuminati is. You're either Republican or you're Democrat. You're wrong. Why? It's this easy. It's called divide and conquer. That's why there's two parties and only two. And they're controlled by the same people at the very top who belong to the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberger Group. They also belong to the Trilateral Commission, and you people don't even know what the hell that is. But if you did know, you would know that these are the people that control your world by making global policies that you never vote on, and by which parties both serve and belong to these organizations and control your world. Now, here's how it works. Really easy. Divide and conquer can only work if the people that are divided are not aware of the falsely created division. If you're not aware of it, then it works. If you know about it, then it don't work no more. If you have socialism without capitalism, it becomes communism. If you have capitalism without socialism, it becomes fascism. And it's just that easy. I love you. That's all you need to know. That's why Masonic symbols are all over your freaking money. But you don't pay any attention. Ridiculous.
It's pretty wild. I remember that's been around for. Look, I've seen
it's an old rant.
Like, I'm looking now. When I was actually thinking, it's almost like we're in a psychological experiment with the things that are happening, from Henry's murder to our, the upper echelon tell us that a man can get pregnant, which we can't. It's almost like we're being tested to see what will the Luddites do if we give them this or stuff. You know what I mean? And
well, we have been tested.
Yeah, but it's almost like I actually wonder, is it someone above all these? Is it aliens going, look at this little species? Let's tell them that the man can get, I don't know. It's crazy at the moment. It's non-stop since COVID came along. It's just non-stop. And they come along with their new viruses. Oh, Ebola. Now Ebola's gone. You know what I mean? I think I got rid of it with Ebola chips. I think that's the power of that joke. It just... and here we are.
Congratulations to the unvaccinated for not taking advice from satanic pedophiles.
Yeah. This boy today was beautiful. So this boy, Xavier, and he and another boy we've been interviewing a few times now. We're going to interview him again, called Rowan. They are both young. They just see the world clearly. They don't want it. They don't want what's been offered. They've got passion. They've got energy. And I think they're going to reach a lot more young people than we can reach. And so I'm hoping that they'll come on to do a podcast together, because they're especially reaching out to young men. But he went from being the dux of the school to the leper of the school because he simply didn't get jabbed. And the whole thing turned against him. He actually won like the bow of the ball, but he wasn't allowed in the ball. He wasn't allowed to come. And he went, I think he suffered going through that, but now he's strengthened because of it. But this was a guy that could have been on to lawyer, everything, and he was going to get jabbed. It was only his mother that told him, read the insert before you take it. And so he came back with a pamphlet, and she said, that's not the insert. And then when he asked for the insert, they couldn't provide it, or something like that. It's in the thing. And he just started to wake up slowly. And now he's this beautiful thing. These kids glow. Johnny Lauder's daughter's the same, so might get her on with it. But there's real hope starting.
Yeah.
There's a new army rising, and I think it will rise because look at our kids. The government, Albo, is offering our children nothing. What it is, it's almost like I told this young guy today because I said, if you feel worthless, then that's the injuries of this modern war. They want you to feel worthless, so you can't be bothered to fight. It means you've been shot by them. They've effectively disabled you by making you feel worthless. The way to fight back is to, well, it's like this, fuck off, don't let the darkness into you. They're mad. We have to come back with worth. We have to give our kids worth. We have to give our kids hope. And maybe life has always been hard and you got to fight. But at the moment, those above with all the money, they are so out of order that I think we're in a place where, we don't pay the tax. There's taxes we don't pay, and all sorts of campaigns, but you can fight it. Because I see it in so many young people, this worthlessness. And that's what I think these young people can get back. There's more benefits to your life to feeling you got worth, not narcissistic worth, but just worth. You're here, you're alive, you're incredible with all the things you're able to do. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating watching them. Kel and I, when we interviewed Rowan first, it was like interviewing this prophet. You're going, holy moly, you know what I mean? And it's filled us full of hope going forward. And the government is offering nothing. They're saying you can't afford a house, climate change is real, and just by existing, you're destroying the planet. You're the wrong color, you're white. White is bad, white is racist. If you're a boy, the head of the Herald Sun in Melbourne replicated what they did in Victoria, WA's front page, where you got this woman going, how do I make my son not turn into a monster? You fucking kill yourself, bitch, because the son's going to do better without you. I hate to say it. Your son needs to be told that he is a gift to the nation, an absolute gift to the nation. And if something goes wrong, well, we fix it then. But telling him that he's a monster, we got to turn him into something else. And that's on the front of a major newspaper, now 2 major newspapers. It is an attack on the very worth of the people. So if you're feeling worthless, even if you're our age, it's not you. That's the damage they've done to you. That's what they want. Shrug it off. It's bullshit. You're incredible. You've got this great brain. You've got the ability to love. Even this old guy I wrote about, the thing that I loved about him was he's got nothing. He's 77. He's living in his van. He's got nowhere to go. The council are constantly moving him on. He's like a ghost in his own town. And what's he doing with us? Helping. Oh, he can't stay there. You go stay there. He's just giving. The state has taken everything out of him and sucked him out of him and just going, why are you still here? Can't we get mates? Can't this guy be sort of coerced into dying to get him out of here? Because we've built these whole new foreshores that are really beautiful, and we don't want these homeless people staying there. We just go to the next town. And so he feels worthless, and yet when he's with us, all he was doing was helping. And then the most beautiful thing happened that I saw. So we were cooking sausages, and I said, do you want a sausage? And he's going, no. He's eating couscous. Or it didn't look very nutritious what he was eating. It was out of a dog bowl or something. And then Kelly, just like a mother of a nation, just gives him sausages, just gives him pumpkin, just gets him in this food. And he's going, no, she's not listening. She's just wandering off. It's not like Cal has much either. It's not like and yet here she is giving. And I thought, this is how we win. We're down here and we think you've got nothing, and we're helping. It's like you and I, Paul. We're helping each other. We're coming up. There's a love connection. And that, I believe, is going to grow because more people are going to realize there's more benefits to loving each other and helping each other than there is to hating each other, using hurty words, attacking each other. There's nothing forward. There's nothing for us that's conducive for our souls in their worthless world. It's now, this is one way to do it. So if you're feeling worthless, fuck it off. It's not real. They've done it to you with all their propaganda. Shrug it off. You are a beautiful human being. And if you see us, why don't you sit over and do an interview and we'll share your beauty with the world like we did today with Xavier. Honestly, it's an honor to share the voices of these young people. We've got about 4 other interviews to go up too. So, yeah.
Amazing. No, it's important work. It'll be seen that way, I'm sure. I'm trying to. Here we go.
Shoot me first.
So this is Gerard Rennick, and he's pointing out the changes that this was back in, I think, June, July last year. TAGI changed the handbook to 3rd of June. It says that the COVID vaccines are no longer recommended for healthy infants, children, adolescents, and yet they're still giving the shit. Even though TAGI was meant to be, follow TAGI. They're the experts. Follow them. Your livelihood depends on it, and yet they change their advice, and they're still giving shots. Even though TAGI itself now is saying that the risk benefit is not there, that they're suffering more harm than good, And so to me,
watch this. This was in Bunbury on a wall for an entire huge building called the immunization building or vaccination building. Look at this image. So we've got clean water, fresh air, healthy food, but you still need your vaccination. Look, I'm getting it. It's almost like you're not even an earthling. You're from some other planet. And the only way you survive here is they vaccinate you and put this shit into your veins. And the young guy, Xavier, today said 3 to 5 times a year, they were vaccinating the kids in the school. They'd come in, often didn't tell them what it was for, and they'd have 20 or 30 people. He says that they would pass out. And they was just doing it. It's like sheep. It's like just vaccinating sheep. And it's. So what do you think of that image, Paul?
It's upsetting for me because what I've been looking for is Paul Thomas. I have a short clip of Dr. Paul Thomas. So he was the pediatrician who had a good number of unvaccinated kids in his practice. And he did a study of the utilization, the hours used at a visit, and he could separate vaccinated from unvaccinated kids. And it was chalk and cheese, when it came to ADHD, autism, the behavioral, asthma, autoimmune, ear problems, fevers. It was so obvious. And there was no problem with his paper. It was published, it was peer-reviewed, but they retracted it. The same with the Ford Clinic, Henry Ford study by Zervos. Del Bigtree said, "Come on, prove us wrong." He said, "Okay, I'll do it." He did the study, showed the same thing as Dr. Thomas, and he said, "I can't publish this. I'll be unemployed." But the study was there. The control group study, I think it was Mawson. Same thing. We've got like 13 studies, all removed, censored. Not because that they didn't, that they were wrong, factually wrong, or that they'd made mistakes in their analysis, but because they didn't want the message. So I formed the opinion. I formed the opinion a while ago, being aware of this stuff, that the childhood vaccine schedule, which hasn't been tested against placebo controls. Things like the Hep B, 147 kids followed only for 5 days, that sort of thing, over and over again. It's an evidence-free zone, but there is evidence of real chronic, real harms, real chronic disease. And of course, in the last week, one of the posts was about another censored study. Let me see if I can find it. Which was about sudden infant death.
Wow!
So here it is. And Rebecca Barnett did this, wrote about this. A study by Neil Miller, and I think this has been, it was peer reviewed. It's been up there for 5 years, and it showed it showed that there was a very strong temporal association with kids with SIDS dying around the times of their vaccines. So I've been talking about the chronic disease, that we've got a tsunami of chronic disease, autism, behavioral problems, allergies, and all that, which is not due to climate change.
Nope.
Which is being censored and suppressed, but the evidence is out there. I feel like Scully or Mulder in X-Files. The truth is out there. It's not fucking aliens. It's the harm of these shots. So I'm still responding to that image you showed me. The idea that health is injected.
Yeah, this is pure propaganda, Paul. This is what they're selling. I'll just bring it up again. Because there was others on the wall too, but this is what they're selling. They're saying that this is the where to go? That's on the wall, so that's the truth. Some little kid sees it. Look at that, smiling. She's smiling. It's just healthy country kids. Forget about vitamin C, fresh air. It's just sitting down, taking shit into your veins. This is evil. Evil, evil, evil. And I'm just here, Vaccines Amen. I'm reading this by Aaron Siri. Once I finish to it, I'm going to reach out to him to see if we can get him on. This book just blows your mind. So the people that make the vaccines and the regulatory bodies and pharma, and they all work together. So it's like you designed the vaccine. I'm marketing the vaccine, and the regulator is supposed to see if it's safe. We're all mates. We all work together. It's just bullshit. They're just pushing it out. And the saddest thing of all, I think, not the saddest thing, but one of the real tragedies, and I wish I could find someone to come on and talk about it, shaking baby syndrome. So obviously these children, these babies have died of a vaccine injury. And these young men come in, these young fathers, probably freaking out. I know when I was a young father, you're left with a baby, you're like, oh my, I don't have breasts. Well, what do I do? And so you're nervous, and you came in and the baby was blue, you would freak out. And so they're shaking him. They know the shaken baby thing has been disproved. It's bullshit. But there's young men and maybe women in jail now for murdering their child. They didn't, and they're in jail theoretically because the whole system is protecting Big Pharma, and they'll sacrifice the parents of a SIDS baby to protect the product.
On the altar of the vaccine religion, it's a religion, and so these people are jailed because rather than acknowledge that there's an association between they just need to look. I mean, this is the study. That study is, like I say, has been out there for 5 years. It shows it shows the coincidence.
Yeah, this is Petra. This is Petra. But we've interviewed Petra twice now. Petra lost her daughter tragically to the vaccine. She took her, and her family's in turmoil from the loss of her girl. It must be horrendous. There's some other people today. They think their daughter was pregnant, and just before she went to give birth, they said you can't come in the hospital unless you take the jab. So they jabbed her before she went into hospital. That baby was born fine, but the next baby died inside her after 14 weeks. And this woman's adamant that they killed the. This is insidious stuff. And the thing is, what it is, Paul, as Aaron says in here, they won't even look. What could be causing all this? We've got fresh air, we've got good food, we've got all this good water, and yet everybody's sick. It doesn't make sense. You go back to the 70s, we had far less vaccinations, good food, fresh water, and plenty of air, and everyone was fit and healthy. You didn't have everyone's sick. They'd have you, this young lad even said today, Xavier, that they wouldn't vaccinate them before a sports event, because if they did, the kids couldn't participate. They wouldn't do their best in the sports event. So they vaccinate them after. So they kind of know it affects them.
Yeah.
There's an insanity like here, man.
There is. It can't hold. And then this is a short thing of RFK talking about bullshit.
And during COVID, we saw something that had a long runway, which was that the government was not always telling the truth to the American public. Science was being manipulated. That the message was that people were openly, regulatory officials at the highest level were openly telling what they called noble lies, in order to get the public to do something that they genuinely thought that they ought to be doing. They would misstate the data, and we're not doing that anymore. We're telling the public now, and if you've watched what we're doing over the past 15 months, we tell them what we know and what we don't know. We're changing our websites so that we acknowledge that there are gaps in the information, and we're not going to fill them by lying to people. We're going to fill them by doing the research that should have been done.
So there you go. I mean, they lied. They lied. That's what we've been calling out for several years now.
Yeah,
and the noble lie was based on the idea of the vaccine religion. The holy injection was where health came through, and it was all based on lies. Like someone mentioned about turtles all the way down again.
Yeah.
I mean, people who.
I've got that there too. I want to read that as well. Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, Turtles All the Way Down. I've got that book as well. It's just getting time to read. I might do some tonight because I'm thick. I got the COVID.
Here's I mentioned Dr. Paul Thomas, the pediatrician who did that study with James Ryan. Here's a short clip with him on Children's Health Defense.
What would happen if most of us decided we don't want these vaccines because we've done our research, as you have, and I now have, took me a little longer than you, and there's no safe vaccine on the childhood schedule, period. So at this point, I'm also an anti-vaxxer because we don't have a safe vaccine. We don't even have a single one that was properly tested for safety. However, if you aren't comfortable with how you want your child to die, I say in the book Vax Facts that you are more likely to die from the vaccine than you are from the disease for which there is a vaccine. And this is true for every single vaccine on the childhood schedule. It's still a death. It's still super rare, but you're much more likely to die from the vaccine. So which do you want? You want a greater chance of dying from the vaccine or a lesser chance of dying from the disease? Of course, from many of these diseases, the risk is zero. What would happen if we just stopped? Those who wanted to stop. I mean, if you want the vaccine because you're scared of those unvaxxed people, go get the vaccine.
Again, this is a theoretical discussion because I don't think mandates are going anywhere. I don't care what politicians we have helping us out, because if mandates were to stop and the word were to really get out and parents en masse and adults and teenagers stop taking vaccines, these companies would crash. This is something to talk to a financial person about, but I just know that's not going to be allowed to happen.
So that was Dr. Paul Thomas in his own words. He wasn't talking about the study there, but he was talking about the research that, you might get less whooping cough after whooping cough vaccination, but when they looked at it in two large cohorts in Africa, in the country where they could break it down, the kids who got the jab got less whooping cough symptoms. They still got colonized and still transmitted it in many cases, but they were less symptomatic. But they died at they had 3 times the death rate of other things.
Yeah. I heard that.
That's the sort of thing Dr. Thomas is talking about. It doesn't mean that it won't protect you against measles, but if you're 3 times more likely, your kid's 3 times more likely to die from another cause, it's not a win. It's not a win, and that it's been played out over and over again with all the shots. So that's what Paul Thomas is referring to there.
But what she said then is it. These without vaccines, these big pharma companies will collapse. So what they're doing, the state and all those invested, including in the corporations themselves, they're basically trying to survive. And if they have to make us all sick to do so, they will. So it's gone past morality. They just want to survive, and it's like burn all the fields, burn all the fields sort of strategy. This is it. So people are waking up, people are coming in, they don't want to get it, and they're going all out. I mean, even now here where I've met women, single mothers who didn't want to vaccinate their kids, saying the government constantly sends them things. If you do that, we'll give you this much money. We'll give you hundreds of dollars. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. You're missing out on all this money. They're desperate to do them all. But these young lads who are talking now, and hopefully they'll bring other young lads out. Yeah, man, there's change coming. I don't think they can stop it. I think the tide for change is rising. It's like an orange tsunami, but it's going to be tough first. These people aren't going down without a fight.
No. Well, remember in Nepal last year, the Gen Z revolution. One 15-year-old kid just became a focus. And they ended up burning down Parliament and throwing the politicians in the river. They had to escape by helicopters off the roof, like in Saigon at the end of the Vietnam War. Last week, we had the Fast of the Fallen in DY, and you were saying that the public are fed up. This guy seems pretty fed up. He was being interviewed by Rosie when I was down there last week.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Murphy, thank you for coming and seeing us at Forest of the Fallen. You've just come by and said you had a problem as a result of the COVID vaccination. Which one did you get?
Pfizer.
And at what point in the so-called pandemic did this occur?
21.
21. Were you mandated?
No, but I was bribed.
Well, yes.
As a parent, they bribed my children, knowing that the adults would also take it, because they told the kids that they couldn't participate in anything. And as a result of it, they insisted on having it.
So your whole family took a Pfizer injection?
Yes.
And has the result been as diabolical for you as it has been for other people?
It has been for me, yes.
What happened to you?
I had anaphylactic shock, but I've never been allergic to a thing in my life.
And was that after the first or the second one?
I've had two of them. It happened months afterwards.
Yeah.
And then I also now have got ectopic heartbeats permanently, where I've never had a heart problem in my life.
Well, you look like a fit man. Now, what's the medical profession said to you? Have they attributed it to the vaccine?
They're the most ignorant bunch of fools that I've ever dealt with in my life. They have no right to hold a medical license, and they're liars, and they participate in this bullshit that the government has created. They've been silenced, whether with money or whether with threats of removing their license. It is so outrageous that the people that participated in this should be either hung in a courtyard or they should be removed from society for a very long time and in prison.
Murphy, I think a lot of people have started to see your point of view with this, because there was an obligation of all the medical people to provide informed consent, and that was not done. There will be a liability issue. We have to look at AHPRA. We have to look at all our previously trusted agencies, because we can't trust them anymore. And doctors have to realise that the people now are realising what's happened. We, the people, have to educate the medical people, because the medical people are too scared to look. I think that is really what's happening. What do you think about that?
I feel the government is conspiratorial with the pharmaceutical companies. This was all done as a matter of profit. Normal vaccinations take 10 years of trials. They brought this out in months and used people as guinea pigs for profit. It's so outrageous and it's deranged.
It's criminal.
It's beyond criminal.
Yes, evil, cruel and criminal. Murphy, thank you so much for coming and sharing your views with us, and I have to say I entirely agree with every word you've.
So I do you know what I particularly liked about that? He was angry.
Yeah. You saw the act.
Did you notice? Did you notice that his anger was pretty on display? And
Yeah, it's the first time we've seen anger. Usually the blasé. So that's
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, so I don't know, but maybe.
And Dawn Shannon says he doesn't look like a well man at all. You know.
Yeah, I'm afraid not. Look, the other thing that happened this week that's worth mentioning is the hearing in the U.S. Ron Johnson's hearing, and I've got a few short clips about that. Just to give people, I watched the whole thing. I thought it was excellent. So this first one is our friend Asim Malhotra.
Oh, yep.
If I can hit the button. Here we go.
Looking at the totality of up-to-date evidence and what you've heard from eminent witnesses today, in my view, millions of Americans and millions more across the world may be in clear and present danger of suffering premature cardiovascular disease and cancer. Without allowing all scientists to debate this openly, without fear of censure, we will not be able to identify who is most at risk and how these risks can be mitigated. When it comes to making money, multinational corporations have been diagnosed by preeminent forensic psychologist Dr. Robert Hare and law professor Joel Bakan as legal entities that fulfill the criteria for psychopathy. Characteristics include callous unconcern for the safety of others, incapacity to experience guilt, repeated lying, and conning others for profit. The evidence presented here today exposes the corporate tyranny underlying public health practice. This profitability over people rooted in the neoliberal economic model has led to trust being an all-time low in the medical profession. A full public apology from government bodies and medical leadership to the vaccine injured and bereaved is an essential first step in restoring that trust. Tyranny emerges afraid to say what they think. When you have something to say, silence is a lie. When everyone lies all the time, the tyranny is complete. To save the health of the American people and to save democracy, it is our responsibility to expose, resist, and dismantle the era of corporate tyranny we currently find ourselves in.
Yeah, that was well said.
Can I just play you this quickly? Oh. I don't know where you went. Can I just play you this quickly from now? I'd never heard this. I'll get back to that, but it just came up in a short. So Xavier was claiming when they used to vaccinate the kids, if you didn't want it, they would force it on you. Listen to this.
You are getting this vaccine, and here's a signature. There was no information. It was just, this is the procedure.
No informed consent.
No informed consent, and they didn't ask us for consent. People tried to run away from it, and they wouldn't let them. They would bar the doors. The teacher would bar the doors and not let you leave the library if you didn't get this vaccine. Like, if you didn't show up to school on that day,
watch this.
You would have a catch-up day as well. No, that to me is just...
So they were determined to get it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, you just wonder, are the teachers in on that?
So they had no right to say no?
No, we didn't, including me. I remember...
It just happened to be not on the list. That's the only reason.
Yeah, I remember, like, all these people trying to just run away from it because they were shit terrified. Like, they were just bouncing off the wall.
Feeling inside.
Yeah,
so take it.
And they wouldn't let you leave. There was one door to the library. There was no other way out, and they would have all these barriers going up into the library.
Jeez, I'm feeling pierced. Post-traumatic stress disorder just listening to that, because I remember what it was.
There's one interview if you want to see it, guys. Share it. Yeah, I know, Paul. I'm the same. We were sitting there in shock. In shock.
Yeah.
These are things I haven't heard, and this happened 3 to 5 times a year.
It's terrifying. Do you remember Doc Malik? He went in to get some information about the shots. He was going, I'm not sure. And he sat down, and before he had a chance they had injected him in the arm, and because they'd redefined informed consent as being in the building and sitting down, not so that, and he couldn't. He went back to the car and he cried. He wasn't there to get injected, but they just said, "Oh, you sat down in the chair."
England. Malik in England.
Yes, yeah, that was his story. So, they redefined they redefined informed consent as you've stepped into the building. That's enough. We can hit you. It was insane what was going on. But what was happening in the schools is terrifying. You know, they became trapped within the walls of the school, and the parents' rights and wishes were not being considered.
I had a young woman who told me when in Port Macquarie, her son was going to one of the best schools there. The school was full of lawyers, and he called up to say he's hiding in the toilet because she'd given him a mobile phone, and that they had Greyhound buses, and they were ferrying all the children away to be vaccinated, all of them, just taking them away. Mature age minors, they were going. So he was hiding in the toilet. Remember in Schindler's List when the Nazis came to round up the children, they hid in the toilet? You're sitting there going, my God. And she had to rush down and get him out. Yeah. And this young Xavier, he's only three in the entire school who didn't get jabbed. 3.
Right.
It's a special school for 11 to 12-year-olds. This is for high end. These were the cleverest kids. It's a specialized school for the high achievers. And he was the best of the best. And now here he is.
Yeah,
and they discarded him from the school because he wouldn't comply. So forget his intellectual prowess, forget all the promise he has, and he's clearly a clever kid. I mean, this kid's a goer. And they kick him out because he won't comply. Now, how are you going to build a society that's going to be take on the world if all you have is kids who are waiting to be told what to do because you only have the compliant going forward? You know?
Yeah, no, we're in the process of being destroyed as a country, as a culture, as an economy. That's why it's our duty to push back. And I mean, we've had some ideas already tonight, in some of those rants of how this is one of the testimonies, but this is actually this is Professor Dalgleish, who a lot of you know.
In my view, it is that I started noticing that people who'd been stable with cancer, melanoma, for years started relapsing at the beginning of 22. And I asked for any reason why this might have occurred. And I noted they'd all been given boosters by their GPs, which if they'd asked me, I wouldn't have done that. And so you had to look around. What's the reason? Why would a booster allow a cancer to come back? Well, it turned out it's very simple, that boosters suppress the T cell response. The first two will increase it a bit, but a booster suppresses it. And that's exactly what we found. But then a group from Madrid published a wonderful paper saying T cell exhaustion after third COVID vaccine in cancer patients with an incredible data. It showed it very, very clearly. And so therefore, any cancer suppressed and controlled by the immune system, you suspect might pop up after the booster. Surgeons noted their colorectal patients were very difficult to treat. They were presenting late and they were presenting young. And they found that these patients had all had the booster too. And they called a red flag. And I called a red flag that just the suspicion that the vaccine might be involved in the cancer.
Are there any studies that have linked the mRNA to cancer? Is there any sort of medical process that you can allude to that will back that up?
The strongest are the epidemiological studies. And the strongest was from Japan, a paper by Gibbo and his colleagues, which just had the raw data. And they noticed that the number of new cancer cases went up with each booster vaccine.
Coincidence? Sorry. And at the I'll remove myself. At the at Ron Johnson's hearing, he mentioned something that I've said to you, Michael, on the show, that, you know, because there's over 12 mechanisms. When Dr. Marcus came on, we said that as well. It's not like it was unexpected. You know, if you understood the technology and you understood something about immunology, the cardiovascular disease, the cancers, they don't come exactly as a surprise. You know.
No. The biggest surprise is the people's reaction. There's a woman came up to me the other day with a partner. He's jabbed, she isn't, and he said, you know, I had to have it. And as the young fella Xavier says, so you didn't want it, you had to have it. But I said to him about if you found out about the government, he said, oh, the government didn't know. They were as innocent as everyone else. I said, yeah, but what if you found out the evidence that they weren't? What if you found out the evidence that they did know and they didn't take it, which is looking like we found that evidence. They didn't take it and they forced it on you and you went into hospital sick. What would you do then? And he just looked at me. He just did a straight smile. I thought, you won't do anything, will you? You'll forgive them. And this is the trouble. If people were as angry as the one Rosemary Marshall just did, we'd be in a different world. There'd be outrage in the streets. There would have to be a Royal Commission because the people would demand it. But instead, everyone goes, oh, it's behind us. Oh, let's just move on. And I think a part of the reason they want to move on that no one ever talks about, because like we've been called Nazis and right-wingers, the reason they don't want to talk about it, and I know it's bad, is that most of you became Nazis. I'm sorry, but you did. You were pointing out Anne Frank before the government even said we're looking for her. She's over there. You just became fucking Nazis.
Yeah.
And you kicked loved ones out of your family because the government said, oh, my brother who I love, you want me to tell him not to come to Christmas? Yeah, okay, sure. You can't come to Christmas. You can't do this. Get our job. I've worked here for 30 years, but you won't take the thing. I love you, man, but out of here. And I'm not talking to you again because the government said you're a bad person. You're a dirty Jew, and I'm a Nazi. Well, I'm not a Nazi. We call ourselves other names.
We call ourselves the safe and effective crew.
Yeah, and that's why they don't want to talk about it. They did things that they took it for granted in their soul that they wouldn't. And this is why I say the identity of Australia is gone. These people who thought, I am the grandson or the granddaughter of the Gallipoli veterans, and I've got a healthy dose of the Corellas, fuck you, Paul Hogan, Crocodile D. Larrikin in my soul. Well, you didn't. You didn't. You became terrified of death. You had no sense of this. You got crippled by the fear. Your value system went to things, and not all of you, but enough of you became Nazis that if they built those camps, which they did, if they started coming around picking up Paul and ferrying him off in an armored car, you would have just closed the blind and said to your wife, he should have just got the jab.
Yeah. But look, I think they were hacked. A lot of them were hacked, you know, by military-grade psyops. Now, needless to say, if you've been coerced, bullied, and psyoped using subliminals and psychological nudging, military-grade psychological operations, that's not informed consent either, you know. And now, this was an extraordinary exchange.
Just to add to that, saying that, though, I don't think you're bad people. I think you just so coerced. The propaganda machine was so bad, and that you're actually victims. You are victims of this, and you deserve retribution. You deserve it. You should be furious because what the lie that they used against you was love. Save your grandmother. Save an effective. Save society. They coerced you the same way they coerced young men to go and die on the shores of Gallipoli for no real reason. It's just the bullshit of war. And here's the same. You were coerced, lied to, blackmailed. You are owed retribution. There's a better country going forward, but you can only reach it if you actually accept the fact that, yeah, I was. And then once you are, you might be like that guy, Rosemary Marshall, interviewed who's angry and wants revenge, and that's where we need to be.
I saw all of them as a cabal of needle rapists.
Yeah,
you know, like it was a widespread needle rape, and that was before I knew that. That's before I knew that there was DNA contamination.
Remember that?
You know, and all
and
that.
now they're taking all the things. So we're basically the whole country's being medically raped and pillaged.
Yeah,
that's
literally. I think literally. I thought this was an extraordinary exchange. This woman represents the oncology organization, and she'll speak for herself.
Dr. Graylow, you mentioned that mRNA degrades very rapidly in the body. Is it your understanding and belief that the mRNA in the COVID injections is that type of mRNA?
That is my understanding.
So you don't realize that that's not true mRNA, it's modified. It's modified pseudouridine, is that so it doesn't degrade. You're obviously then unaware of some of the studies that show that the spike is in the mRNA is circulating the body up to 2 years. We haven't studied it longer than that, but it's stayed in this body that long, attaching to the cells. As long as I'm on this track, was it your belief that the injection would stay in the arm? We were told that it was going to inject in the arm, stay there, create antibodies. The mRNA was going to degrade very quickly, and that's why it was so safe. Was that your understanding and your belief that the injection stays in the arm?
I think the effects of the injection are total body. So the immune response, the reaction.
No, but I mean the actual. So you're aware the modified mRNA was encapsulated in the lipid nanoparticle, correct? So do you believe that package stayed in the arm as we were told it was going to do?
I can't reliably comment on that.
Yeah, that's called biodistribution studies. Brian Bridle showed that showed that it went everywhere. Remember the very first interview I did with you, Michael? I was talking about lipid nanoparticles and how it goes everywhere. That's it's 4.5 years ago.
I know, man. You've been Chicken Little from the start. Even when we didn't know what a nanoparticle was, we're just looking at you going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, you were just making jokes about big balls, as I recall. This is Dalglish's testimony actually at the.
Oh yeah.
Who'd had other cancers, I noticed that they too had booster vaccines, and I list them in my report. They go from everything from the common cancers, from breast, prostate, etc., and all the way through to some really unexpected ones, including glioma, and more recently, hematological malignancies. Now, looking at the literature as to why this could be, and I'm involved in 2 big publications. One's been accepted prior to changes, and this shows that there are remarkable at least a dozen mechanisms where messenger RNA can insert into the DNA and activate oncogenes, and more importantly, and especially the long term, they can suppress the suppressor networks, which means if a cancer is starting to evolve, it would normally be maintained, controlled, and this mechanism is being prevented. And the number of people who've shown this is quite enormous. So as an oncologist, who I'm starting to see that it's not only my patients now, it's people I know really well who are going down with cancer, and they're going down more aggressively, and the treatment is not working nearly as well. And I'm used to people saying, oh, there's no evidence that the cancer's increasing and that there's anything to do with the vaccine. But I can assure you from the patients that I have seen, that many have seen a dozen doctors before. Not one of them has ever asked the vaccine history. So of course they see no evidence. And my full detailed research into the messenger RNA vaccines, and I was on the scientific board of a company claimed to be the messenger RNA vaccine company for 5 years and left 8 years ago. So I know a lot more than the average clinician. And myself and others feel that there is no way you can control this technology, and its use for future vaccines should be banned, and the COVID ones stopped now.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Yeah, I agree, but man, they're investing everything. They've got factories in Victoria and 2 factories in Australia now pumping out hundreds of millions of these things, you know?
And it's a failed and dangerous technology. They can't make this technology safer.
No.
You know? But I've been saying the same thing over and over and over. This is Christine Cotton, a French researcher, who, among other things, was making the point that the studies were on a different vaccine. You know, those studies that the medical mafia was based on a different product to the one they gave to billions of people. You know, it was the process one. It was a bait and switch. There was even for all the minutiae. Let's look at the study. Look at the study. You know, and some of us, like Steve Kirsch, was pointing out, oh, even in your study, more people died in the jab group than the unjab group. Maybe this, you know, the study that was used to approve it. But even all that, it's BS because it was a different product. The product they gave was like made in a PCR machine, you know, in a clean environment. The stuff that they gave us was in vats of genetically engineered poo, E. coli. You know, very different product. That's where the SV40 and the DNA contamination comes. Anyway, this woman, unfortunately, as you can see in her message down below, committed
suicide.
Self-made a few days ago. So yeah, and it's interesting the conversations around it, the symptoms she was suffering ever since she went public. She's had a lot of chronic disease and pain, and someone was even suggesting it was consistent with thallium poisoning. So maybe she was poisoned.
Wow.
I like this comment. Wow. I like this comment by Toby Rogers. You know, it's revealing that Western medicine and science have chosen to die on the hill of defending vaccines, when it's relatively easy to show most vaccines cause more harms than benefits. Since this lie is their core belief, the question becomes, what else are they lying about? Yeah, that was a great comment.
Yeah, wow, man.
So, yeah, that's a shame. So there's no shortage of information.
No, you can't. If you can't see it now, we're not waking anyone. If you can't see it now, you don't want to see it. You just don't want it. And I see that everywhere. People just switch off. They don't want to know. They just don't want to know. And what they're stuck in, they need. I'm just going to put this up here now. The quiz show is going on. I'll just get Kel to put it up a few times. That it's just going up now. That we're going to try the registration thing again. I contact StreamYard and they said I didn't tick register. So hopefully that'll be the difference. There it is there to register for the quiz show. And we'll have a look at that. We're going to be telling some dirty jokes and stuff like this. But it's let's see how we go. It's very interesting, Paul, as to why the trolls hate. There's hardly any trolls today, just a handful. But on the quiz show, they are manic. So why is it? What is it about the quiz show that they're so scared of? I'm wondering if it's because people now are just watching us and doing comments. But on the quiz show, you pose questions and they think. And that's what I think they hate. You pose, and more of the questions, like people going, oh, I liked it when you first started. Were you just playing funny people, you make fun of them? Well, I can't be bothered to do that. I'm more interested in posing questions, and I don't know the answers to either, and neither does Kelly, and getting people to think, and the questions are amazing. And I wonder if that's what they're frightened of. I don't know. They're
frightened of something, otherwise they wouldn't be so
It's a
violent.
huge investment, yeah.
It would-
And it's
look,
just vile.
I don't have too much more. I thought I'd play this
Yeah, go
because
ahead.
to get back to a little bit of situational awareness of where we are. This is Überführer Schwab.
Who will really command the fourth industrial revolution and its technology like artificial intelligence?
What's your sense of who's best placed at this time to lead the world into the fourth industrial revolution? Because you pretty much created this term. We're seeing the kind of technological strides that China has made with Huawei, with the 5G technology. Do you believe that this could potentially be China's time once again?
We should make here again let's say a differentiation. On the one hand, we have state capitalism. On the other hand, we have shareholder or private capitalism. So it's a clash between two systems. I believe that state capitalism in the short term provides certain advantages, because you can mobilize in a concentrated way a lot of resources to reach a specific objective. But I believe that the future is not state capitalism or shareholder capitalism. The future is what I call stakeholder capitalism, which is combined with the social responsibility.
Yes, it's what the billionaires want. And one of the things I'm noticing, Michael, is that I'm concerned that this global financial system, based on promises, and particularly government promises, sovereign debt, is and the currencies themselves are at risk of collapsing, you know. Yeah. Where was his?
Already, I agree.
Where was his pussycat? You know,
Yeah, that's right.
he's such an obvious Bond villain. I think I've covered the main things I wanted to, that I picked up in the last week. There's so much. I don't know what people are interested in, but I am fascinated by what's happening with the oil shock that I think is still incoming. The impact it will have on the debt-based financial system, and I think this has been engineered. This is Klaus's Great Reset. You know, this is all linked in with how COVID was conducted, the vaccine passports, the digital ID, the surveillance and control state that he calls, stakeholder capitalism. It's the billionaires get to control the useless eaters. It's not. I don't think we're living in the time. It's not a drill anymore. I think it's live fire, and it's happening in real time. And I'll just reiterate what I've been saying for a few years now. My dentist used to say, old school dentist, just floss the teeth you want to keep. And I say, just keep in hard assets the assets that you don't want to lose, because you won't get any warning. It'll happen overnight, probably on a weekend, maybe on a Friday night, and the system will change. It will suddenly revalue. And you want to keep, if you have the opportunity, you have some savings or whatever, get it out of the system. It's probably the best protest. It's the one that will really annoy the shit out of Klaus and the billionaire class. If we pick up our balls and leave, and I think more and more, I think we we have to think about how we're not going to consent to what our governments and institutions are doing. And I think you're right. I think it's the kids. It's the Gen Zers who are being told that, you know, you have no future, or they see they have no future under the system, who are probably going to lead the revolution. And we'll be there behind them, supporting them, because we want a future for them that has hope. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can't do that in a system where you can't save.
Yeah.
We can't save because we don't have sound money. It's been killed by inflation.
Yeah, no one can make any money. Everyone's going.
Well, you can't save, and the problem, and the problem with a society with a rapidly debasing currency is that we no longer have any long-term view. They talk about time preference, short and long time preference. The West is losing out because we can't make long-term plans. Everything is short-term election cycles. Individuals they don't get any compensation in interest by depositing money in the system, in the banks. So banks
we're not planting trees that our children can sit under.
We don't have a long time preference. We're not planning for the future. Everything is short-term thinking. It would become a society where people feel like they have to go into the digital casino, you know, and they're addicted to it in some cases, like, you know, cocaine. And that's not the basis for a society that is going to. You have to be able to save. You have to be able to plan for the future. You have to have property rights, and remember, you will own nothing. You will own nothing. They're coming for all your property rights. So when I say get out of the system, it's not a drill. Listen, please.
We're going to go out the quiz show tomorrow. I agree with you totally, Paul. We're going to go out. This is we're doing the webinar again tomorrow. I think last time we did the webinar, I forgot to click register an email. So some people gone. So if you want to participate in the quiz show coming up, basically it's the front line for Cafe Lockdown. They do troll attacks like crazy. We might be one person, might be a group, but they hate us having the quiz show, which is why we must do it. And so Cal and I are preparing it now. It's the only show we actually work on to get ready. And they come at us, and it'll be disgusting. They'll try to make you go, I can't take this. They want you to be defeated. They want you to not take their shit, not put up with their vileness, and just leave. So to me, is we got to stick it out and just do our show regardless. So we're going to try the webinar so we can get their emails. We've got their emails, we can ban them and stuff like this. They're also stealing other people's identities. I believe they're not only cloning people like they cloned you last week, Paul. I believe they're also using the profiles of maybe dead people. I mean, it's just insidious. And why? Why are we such a threat? Anyway, so I'm going to play first. I'm going to play the promo for tomorrow's show, and then we're going out with Henry's Empty Hand, which is the song I wrote for Henry, and we'll go from that. So so come on, we'll have some fun tomorrow. We've got a big crowd watching tonight, so this is the opening for that. I'll play it here actually with Paul and I. I've always grabbed the wrong fucking. Sorry to swear. Sorry, Hoodie.
Just for the record, I kneeled for Henry before the show.
Yeah, cool. Cal and I have done it today, and people are now kneeling for Henry. It's horrendous what's happened to him. So let me just get it up. Where is it? Why isn't it coming up as usual? Got to make sure I get the right one. And this actually starts. I just grabbed this by mistake. I thought it'd show how they say, we used to be racist. Well, one of our biggest shows that we had was Mind Your Language. And when I went to do to write a play for some Arabic refugees, this was their favorite show. This was during COVID. This was their favorite show. But we're not allowed to watch it because we're insulting them and it's racist against them. And yet they love it. So this is how we're being fucking up with us, you know. So anyway, so I went with this, but in this, the Sikh takes out one of these ceremonial knives. I just happened to get the show where this happened. This is extraordinary. It's extraordinary. It was just luck. So we're starting with this, and here you go. Let's watch.
Next to Ali, your countryman. I cannot sit there. All right. Perhaps you'd like to sit next to Ali, your countryman. I cannot sit there. It's impossible. Why is it impossible? I'm sick. Oh, dear. I hope it's not contagious. Perhaps you want to come back when you're better. I do not comprehend the gist of your conversation. You said you were sick. No. I am not referring to my physical state of mind. My religion is sick. And he is Muslim. Islam is the only true faith. And Muslims follow a false prophet? How dare you be speaking of God's holy messenger, you damn fool? Sikhs are unbelievers and
Remember, this was mainstream TV.
infidels. Sikhs are peace-loving people.
And it's English.
If you are not careful, I will have much pleasure in dispatching you to your holy messenger with this. I will not tolerate any religious intolerance. Now put that knife away. He called me an infidel. Well, he didn't mean it, did you? Most definitely. I swear by the 5 rivers of Punjab to slice your throat from there to there. Oh, ear to ear. Here to there, or there to here. Yes, there will be no throat slicing in my class.
And these are the Danny LaRue dancers.
It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. Oh, fuck. Is it only Monday night? It's the quiz show on the globe.
So she had a flag stolen, not even by a police officer. She was just holding up a flag and got taken.
Is it only Monday night? It's the quiz show on.
This is the guys who used to wear the black face with the black and white minstrel.
It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. Is it only Monday night? It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. Is it only Monday night? He's in a network lag and his prizes are crap. And I'm pretty sure he never took the fucking jab. But since you're all out of you because your government shafted you, where else can you go, so? Roll up, ladies and gentlemen, right, and come on down to Cafe Locked Out because it's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe. Is it only Monday night? Come on, everybody, sing along. It's the quiz show on the globe. It's the quiz show on the globe.
I recommend you do this. We've done it. We've hit about 20,000 people just in the last few hours doing this. Why not?
It's the quiz show on the globe. Is it really only Monday night?
So that's it. So it'll be a bit controversial tomorrow, but who gives a shit? And I'm going from there.
For something different. For something different, a little bit. For something different, a little bit controversial.
And so, and this is Henry's hand. And what the whole thing of this purpose, what really got me when I wrote this poem is not one of them could take off one of those effing gloves, not even his killer or his killer's family. No one could hold his hand. Even if you couldn't save him, he was dying. Couldn't you hold his hand as he died? Have we lost it so much now that it's like, no, he's a racist and this. There's something demonic about that picture with the claws around him. Someone's actually done it with AI. It truly is demonic. I think it's literally Henry's hand could change the world. And here we are. So this is Henry's empty hand, meaning I just wish someone would have held his hand. Good night, everybody.
Right. He just attacked it, took his starter. Sorry? Huh? Sorry, we just got attacked racially by some white person.
Right, okay. Whereabouts are you? Just out in the street, are you?
Sorry?
You're just in the street?
Yeah, literally, I just parked up my car to come home, and he's attacked my brother.
They've convinced you that I'm evil, another right-wing racist man. But is there any chance, my brother, that you could hold my hand? I can hear my mother weeping as the papers forget my name. I guess they couldn't find a way to have a dead white boy take the blame. I'm gonna miss dancing with my sister. I'm gonna miss trying to please my dad. And since I'm kind of all alone here, is there any chance, my brother, that you could hold my hand? Who knew I'd make the podcasters? Who knew that all my dreams were lies? And despite never doing wrong by you, there's only hatred in your eyes. I was partying before this, I dressed up and wore a tie. Now there's ghosts among the coppers, the ones laughing as I die. Now there's ghosts among the coppers, I guess they're waiting for me to die. I'll miss dancing with my sister, I'll miss laughing with my dad. I'm kind of all alone here, so is there any chance, my brother, that you could hold my hand? I'm kind of all alone here, I feel as cold as this, my old and aching land. So is there any chance, my brother, that you could hold my hand? So is there any chance, my brother, that you could hold my hand?